Hi, my name is Kevin Zimmerman with eBrandary. We're going to look at our landed cost calculator based on ocean freight. Our landed cost calculator is a very useful tool, and it will help you determine all of your customs and shipping costs starting with your factory overseas all the way to landing the product into your warehouse. Calculating an accurate landed cost is a crucial step into coming up with a wholesale price or a selling price if you're selling an e-commerce customer like Amazon or Walmart. Let's review the calculator and what should be entered into each field so you can come up with the most accurate landed cost possible. The first field you'll see is the unit cost field. This is the amount of money that you pay your factory for your product. So if you pay the factory $8.50 for your product, that is what should be entered there. The next series of fields you'll see is master carton information. These fields are very important to come up with an accurate landed cost, as this is what will be calculated to come up with a cost per unit for freight. The master carton information we need in order to calculate a freight rate is the master carton quantity, or the number of pieces in our master carton, the master carton length, the master carton width, and the master carton height. So if we have 8 pieces in our master carton, and it doesn't matter if we have an inner carton or not, if the master carton quantity we have is 8, then that's what should be entered in that field. Let's say our master carton length is 15 inches, our master carton width is 13.5 inches, and our master carton height is also 13.5 inches. That will be enough information to calculate the rate we pay per unit per cubic meters, or CBM. The next cost you'll see is for a container and shipping cost. This is usually a cost you can get from your freight forwarder as a door-to-door service, and it's the cost to get your product from your factory overseas all the way to landing it into your warehouse as a door-to-door service. If your freight forwarder quotes you a cost of $7,500 to get your product from your factory to your warehouse, no matter the size of the shipment, then that's what should be entered in this field. Now, the next thing we'll get to is duty and tariff. And when it comes to duty and tariff, these are definitely things that we want to make sure that we get right when we're classifying our items and coming up with HTS codes and percentages. Your factory may know what the HTS code is for their item, but you probably want to run it by a licensed customs broker. Your freight forwarder may have one on hand. You just want to make sure that you get the percentages right and what you are paying customs and paying the government, because if you get it wrong and your items are misclassified, you may end up at some point owing the difference between what you originally paid and what you should have paid. So again, I just want to make sure that you get that right and you properly classify your items. But let's say that a duty rate percentage on our product is 3.2%, and we have a tariff percentage of 7.5% based on Section 301 tariffs. That tariff rate as a percentage and duty rate as a percentage is what we'd enter in these fields. And finally, the last field that we have is a miscellaneous cost percentage. These are costs that we may not necessarily have, but we might have to pay based on our factory cost of the product. For example, a cost that we may pay is maybe we have an agent commission that we need to pay for an overseas agent, and we need to factor that into cost. Well, we would enter that here. So for this situation, let's say that we have a 5% miscellaneous cost, we'll say it's an agent fee overseas, we'll put that in. Now that we have all of our information entered, we can hit the calculate button and see exactly where we end up in our landed cost calculations. So let's go ahead and hit calculate, and we can see that the calculations have been made. So what do we get here? We have a master carton CBM of 0.0448. What that is telling us is just the size of each master carton per cubic meter, or how much our master carton takes up for each cubic meter. The shipping cost per unit, that calculation is coming up from the master carton CBM but now we're also assigning a cost of each individual product in that master carton per cubic meter. So now we're calculating that our product is accounting for 75 cents in freight. Now, when we get to our total estimated landed cost and we scroll back up, we're factoring our unit cost, we're factoring our duty rate percentage, and we're saying that we're paying 3.2% duty on an $8.50 cost. So our duty is accounting for 27 cents. Tariff is almost exactly the same calculation. It's saying that 7.5% of that $8.50 cost is 64 cents. And our miscellaneous cost percentage that we entered, which we're saying 5% of that $8.50 cost, is 42 cents. So when we add up our product cost, our duty cost, our tariff cost, our miscellaneous cost, and then our freight cost, we're coming up with a total of $10.58 to land our product into our warehouse. From that cost, we can then generate a wholesale price or a selling price to any customer that we need to sell to.